Hey everyone on YouTube, it's Giles here. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. So, I've tried to record this video several times, but it's a very difficult thing to discuss, and I keep worrying about how I'm beginning the discussion, how I'm wording it, where I'm starting, where I'm going with it, and I've just decided that I'm just gonna keep talking, and we'll see what's happening, you know. So I'm sorry by the way if you can hear my boiler, but I'm in here, and so is the boiler, and it's cold. So I've been getting help recently for mental health stuff, just for just counselling and stuff like that. And when you go down these avenues to get help for these things, you usually get signposted to a lot of different other places, and you meet a lot of different professionals and counsellors and therapists and guidance people. I don't know what you call a counsellor or a therapist that's not an actual counsellor or therapist. I like to use the term helpful person. They're not a counsellor or a therapist, they're just a helpful person. There's been like a few like signposting places that I've talked to and stuff like that. And unanimously, now none of the people I've spoken to yet have been able to formally diagnose anything, but unanimously, they added to all the other mental health people I've spoken to in the past, and people that I've known personally, are coming at me with the question of autism, which, it's weird, because I've pushed back on this before, and I swear it's only because I'm masking at the time. Again, sorry if I'm a bit stilted for how I'm talking. I'm just trying to get it out. I actually recorded this video a few days ago, but I got quite upset while I was doing it. In a good way, if that makes any sense. I don't feel like it's a bad upset. I don't feel like it's sad. If anything, I feel better than I've ever felt. I feel like so many analogies. I feel like I've woken up after being frozen in stasis for like 20 years. I feel like I'm suddenly awake and I don't know what to do with myself, And it's because I went down the rabbit hole of autism. First of all, there was a social prescriber that I spoke to last week that suggested it very lightly, and when I say lightly, I mean because they can't formally diagnose it, but maybe they've worked with enough people who have suffered with autism to build up a sort of knowledge. She sort of approached it very tentatively, and it's usually very tentatively, very sort of has anyone talked to you about the subject of autism? Yeah. And the thing is, you totally get why it has to come out that way, because otherwise they're like, yeah, no, you seem pretty autistic to me. But she started that conversation, and we had this conversation it was like an hour appointment, and we must have been talking like half of it about autism, and she's going through like this like well-being. I don't know what it is. Like one of those like charts that's like divided into pie slices, and you have to like rate the number 1 to 10. I think it was 1 to 7. This particular one, and like every every single subject, slice of the pie that she asked me about, something rather spectramic would occur. You know, like she asked me, you know, your hobbies. So what kind of hobbies do you do? And it's like, well, to be honest, I make comics and I write almost every waking hour while watching an endless string of live sitcoms. At the moment, it's the Golden Girls. No, actually, it's Golden Palace. That's the one that was just after it. And after that, it'll be Maud. And then after that, it'll be Life with Elizabeth. And then I think there was another one. I want to do Happy Days at some point. But that will continue. I also like watching movies. My record for watching the same movie in the same week is 28 times, and that was 1998's Cats, because it is awesome. But you know, that's a bit too much to watch. I draw, I sing, and the thing is, I'm not building up a repertoire here. It's kind of obsessive behaviour. You know, like normally you get one hobby. You know what I mean? You get one hobby and you get good at it. Do you? I don't know. All I know is that I was just saying this stuff, and I was talking about script writing and about the fact that like I've developed like a multiverse that's got like thousands of characters in it. I've got so many files on my computer with just thousands and literally thousands and thousands of unfinished projects with characters, each of which I can tell you their family tree. And I know the intricate history of them for the past like 20 years. I hardly ever talk about it. Like even where, you know, where I am selling comics and stuff online, I hardly ever talk about it because. What are you talking about? Oh, I just made some money. That's good. I'll mute that just in case I get too rich. But the thing is that there is like a distinct pattern of obsessive behaviour that I have, that it's made me good at stuff, but there's all the other stuff that I can't do, you know, and that ties into my temper, because the weird thing is, since I've had this conversation with this lady, I have a terrible temper. And when I say that, I don't mean I'm some kind of thug who yells at people or hits people. I hit things. I lose my temper with objects, like inanimate stuff. But a lot of my temper is usually projection. You know, like it's a feeling of insecurity, of inferiority. And since I'm mulling this over, the subject of autism, I'm losing my temper less, like significantly less, because I feel like I'm not being smothered by like feelings of being wrong or incorrect or, you know, broken or underperforming in some way. The conclusion, and I don't know if it's right to conclude it before I've even been diagnosed with the bloody thing, but the conclusion that I'm autistic seems to just wash away the feeling of being wrong. You know, it's like anything that anything that is I have difficulty with or slowing me down, I'm not so concerned about whining about it anymore, and I'm more interested in spending my time on other things. You know, like another analogy that was going around in my head was that at a certain point in my life, and hopefully I remember, and we'll go back there in a moment as to why I think this happened, but at a certain point in my life, I feel like I was presented with a door. and it's a door that everybody goes through, and for like 20 years I am trying to get through this door because that is the door that everybody goes through. And what is being presented to me now is closure, and I think that's a really important word, closure, that the door doesn't fucking open for me. And that's not a bad thing, because the determination to go through that door follows the assumption that everybody goes through that door. And so that's why I can't break away from it, because I'm trying to go through it, because I just assume that's the direction I've got to go. But as soon as it's made clear to me that it does not open for me, I can tunnel under the door, I can go through the windows, I'll go around the back of the house, see if there's a, like, maybe it isn't a door at all, it's just painted on, and I've got to find the real door. Either way, it means that I can just stop trying to get through this fucking door and use literally any other way of getting inside. And you can go the exact same direction as everybody else. You're just gonna have to take a different direction to get there. But it's hard to consider taking a different direction to get there when it is your assumption that the door opens for everybody. It's like, that's what makes you turn it on yourself. That's where like the self-hatred comes from. Because you're just sort of like, well, everybody goes through this door. You're telling me I'm so crap I can't even get through the door? I hope this is making sense. In my mind, it's making sense. In my mind, I'm feeling pretty good about it. And it's helped me consolidate on what what's really important in life. I think what worries me is that, I spend so much of my time trying to get better, trying to be a better person, and unfortunately, unlike quite a lot of people, with me it's basic functionality. It's just basic things that people do in their everyday lives that is extremely difficult for me. And this isn't an excuse, it's an explanation. You can work with an explanation. It's not a well, I can't do this, so sod it. It's more like, I can't do this because of that, therefore you need to go around the door. You accomplish the same goal, but you just can't do it like I guess there's a term neurotypical people would. It's just like you can do the exact same thing. You just have to go a different direction to do it. That's all, And as it happens, it's a nice thing, because it's nice finding a new direction to do something. It's something I've always enjoyed. I'm starting to understand why now, but I think one of the reasons this has had so much difficulty trying to get it into my head over the years is the issue of masking. And I think when I look at who I am, how I have come to be, I think the behavior which I exhibit was easier to go undetected in teenage years, because I was a teenager, didn't have anything to, financially and stuff like that. You don't have much to worry about, and then you go out into the real world where they want you to do stuff, and money is there and stuff like that. And if I had known this back then, those days of my life would have been completely different. And it's interesting because I don't think that work would have been an issue. Work was a massive issue because I'm sort of like, I'm bestowing Count Crapula on everyone. But if I knew that I'm not Count Crapula and that, you know, my brain's just working a different way, then work would have been fine. You know, that wouldn't have bothered me, and it doesn't bother me now. And I'm thinking about getting work again, and this is why I say, like, I feel like I've been sort of giving my life back. But it is very emotional, as you can imagine. It's like suffering for a very long time and having absolutely no idea just how badly you're suffering, because, you know, when I look at that lack of acceptance, a lack of wanting, because like I said, this isn't the first time it's been brought up to me. It's been brought up to me various times in my life. But I think the reason why it's taken so long to get through to me will be on account of masking. And I think masking hits you as hard as life does. I might be wrong about that, but this is just the amount I've been reading and watching about all this sort of stuff. It just seems like, and there's some other things that would feed into why it would be such a culture shock when I'm out in the real world, so to speak. But it did a lot of damage, and I think, you know, the way you mask is you just try and pretend to be, and you go back. I keep using that bloody analogy. You try and pretend that the door is open. It's worse than not getting through the door. You actually pretend that you have opened that door and walked through it. You know, you try and pretend that there's absolutely no issue. But the thing that sort of always haunted me was that back in my teenage years, there was a brief period where I liked myself quite a lot. I'm beginning to like myself quite a lot these past couple of days, which is nice. But I was making YouTube videos, and I would the best videos, the best videos. I've noticed an interesting thing to think about. The best videos were usually made as soon as I had gotten home from somewhere. You know, very large and concentrated burst of energy, and I didn't think about this as what they call stimming, and it's something that I still do to this day, and it's something that I still do in particular when I'm alone, and that's the what might sound very strange. Like, for those of you that remember those old videos, they were very high energy, quick cut comedy videos. There's no easy way to say this. I'm still performing these videos. I just don't record them. I have like full blown stand up sessions by myself in my flat, just coming out of my head, usually when I'm like pacing around, or like I invent a lot of weird songs as well, which a lot of you, if you remember those old videos, you'll remember the weird songs. We did have some tunes, didn't we? And I feel like with full confidence this stuff is not I'm not even going to say it's coming back. It is back, because the past couple of days it's fluctuating more. It's just understanding that I can just drop this fucking front that I had no intention of ever building, you know. But it's what you do. It's the armor you put on, because you just get worried that everybody's out to hurt you. You know, I mean, now it's a completely different life. When I was at work, you know, like, bosses are like losing their shit with me. I have no idea what the fuck they're going on about. I I would be completely at ease just staring at them blankly and then walking away. That is what I would do now, and I don't. And again, it's not an excuse. It's not like, well, I can't help it. You know, it's an explanation, and it is on them to be a better person. You know, it is not. If they try and bully me, the only thing that makes them right is my insecurities giving in to them. You know, if they treat me or talk to me like shit, the thing that stops me from just staring at them blankly and walking away is that feeling of inferiority. That feeling that I can't get through the door, which evidently they've gotten through. Therefore, I'm wrong. I'm fucked up. I'm weird. I'm useless. Therefore, they're this angry with me. They're probably right about that. You know? When in fact they're wrong. They're incredibly wrong. Their behaviour is abhorrent. And, you know, I think this is why I say, you know, it's not something I wouldn't want to use this as like a get out of jail free card, but I would want to use this as a way to reason with myself when someone is making an idiot out of themselves, to stop me from thinking that it's me making an idiot out of myself. You know, I look at what has happened to my life during this 2-decade masking session of just pretending to be what I thought a human was supposed to be. It's difficult. I've lost all of my friends, but I can't even say that they've lost me because they didn't even know me to begin with. You know, I had a partner for like 10 years. I was sort of like, I don't, this sounds awful. I don't think, I don't think I know how, I don't think I know who she was going out with. And that's really upsetting. And you know what? I don't know how that's upsetting. And that sounds like a really weird thing to say. Like, it's not like I'm in the acceptance that life has moved on and stuff like that. And there's a long relationship to get to the end of, but just that, it's an eerie feeling to think like, who was I during that time period? And like, was I wasting everyone's time? I don't think I was. You know, I mean, ultimately, I was still trying. It's not like I was, you know, doing anything bad deliberately. But I think when you're trying to behave like a normal person, you're not normal. You know, like you're trying to behave. That's a new category of it in and of itself. That's not abnormal, nor is it normal. You are a person trying to be normal. And it's so difficult because through those years of masking, I understand why because for years I was trying to bring back the whole Jazzman 5000 concept, trying to make those videos again. And a number of times over the years, I thought to myself, like, why do you keep trying to hold on to this? And I think that, you know, evidently it's not just because at first I would be like, are you just not accepting that you're getting older? You know, because you're not as fun as you used to be, you know. And it's weird because I would sort of try and be that, again while still masking. And so you have me doing an impression of what I think a normal person is, doing an impression of who I think Giles is. And it's like so much diluting is going on there. And, evidently, it doesn't work. It comes out contrived and stilted and weird and all the rest of it. I feel like I can sort of finally get back on with my life now, but it's weird because it feels like everything is like, it's like coming back to your bedroom after being away for ages, and it's incredibly dirty. Yeah, everything is upside down. You're like, okay, well, I'm back, but but yeah, I'll keep you posted about this and see what happens. I do apologise that I sort of lay this a lot on yourselves as my YouTube channel, but on account of everything we've been talking to, I don't have a lot of confidence. So you've got to do what you've got to do. The weird thing is, though, is I feel the urge to spend a lot less time on the internet, and that feels really strange. Like I feel like I found what I was looking for. Like just sort of like, oh, there it is. I'll log off now. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think like throughout this video, I'm concerned that someone's going to say, "Oh, you're not," or the things you've said in this video don't mean that you are. And I first of all, I can't say all of it here. I can't list it, all of it here. When I'm describing what hit me as I'm learning about this, we will be here too long, and the video's already 27 minutes. I can only reflect upon how I feel and how much sense this makes to me. And I feel fantastic because this makes a lot of sense to me. And I would like to reap the benefits. So I hope this video wasn't too... Actually, I don't care. It probably was heavy. Okay. Like, if you made it this far, it must have been engaging in some degree, wouldn't it? It's like sort of people that like logged off like 2 minutes or something. You know, that they're the people that I need to apologise to, but they're already gone. That means they can't hear us talking about them. Wankers. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys very soon. See you later.